Good morning. I am so glad to be here with you this morning. I'm super excited about today's topic. I spent a lot of time working on this week for you, and finding ways to explain it that will make sense to you. I am a teacher by trade, and so I love to use visuals and other mnemonic devices to help you remember what we're learning so that it becomes easier for you. So I'm so glad to have you here this morning. My name is Sarah, and I love to call myself a startup coach because really that's what I love helping people do. I love helping people get their businesses started in such a way that it is sustainable, helps make impact and income for you, and is really just a business that you actually love to build. And so that's what I do. I want to help you avoid the mistakes that I made at the beginning so that you can have a shorter runway towards success. If you're watching this live, welcome. If you're watching this in the future, then welcome too. I'm so glad you're here. And if you've missed my previous posts, you can check them out in my Facebook group, Do the Right Work on Facebook, and you can check them out in the guides. Some of the previous ones from the last couple of weeks would be helpful to watch before you get to today. Some of the content I'm not going to cover in depth today because I've covered it in other videos. So with that, last week I did talk about 5 business terms you really need to know, and if you don't, they really are costing you money and time. So I would really recommend that you go back and watch the 5 terms that you really should know, and I will also post that in the links below so that you can check it out. You really do need to know those words. So today what we're tackling is 2 questions that I hear all the time. One is, help, I'm a business owner and I'm trying to do it all. And you just can't. You simply can't do it all. And the other question that I get, the other problem that I see is, help, I don't know what to do. There's so many things to do. I don't even know where to start. And so those 2 problems of either trying to do it all or not knowing where to start can be solved with my high 5 approach to business. And I want to teach you that today. And what you're missing is a couple of key areas in your business that actually guide your work so you know what to do with confidence. So one of the things that I want to highlight this morning is that this work in the high 5 approach is not linear. I help my son with algebra when I can. He's in 8th grade. And in algebra, you have to do things step by step by step. And if you remember from taking algebra in high school or middle school, you have to do the first thing first and then the second thing. You may have learned a device like, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, that taught you have to do parentheses, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction in that order. And there are some things in business that you really do need to do in a specific order. But this, what I'm going to teach you today, is not like that. It's not like you're eating a 3-course meal and you have to eat the soup and salad first, then the main course, and then the dessert. We're actually talking about a buffet of food, and you can choose what you want to start with. You can start with dessert if you want to, if that makes the most sense to you. So think of this like a buffet. It doesn't really matter what you start with. It's just that you need to get through all of it to some extent before you move on. And the mistake that I see most people making is they only do a few of these things in my high 5 approach, and then they try and move on, and then they end up in that part where it's like, help, I don't know what to do, or help, I'm trying to do it all and I'm like dying and I hate what I'm doing because I'm trying to do it all. So remember, this is kind of like a buffet. You don't have to start with number 1 and move through to number 7. You can start and jump around. So I'm a teacher by trade, and so I like to do a memory device. And there are 7 things that I'm going to teach you today in my high 5 approach, and we're going to use our hand to help us remember what they are. If my high 5 approach is helpful to you, great. If not, then you don't have to use it. That's the joy of a mnemonic device. You use it if it works and you don't if it doesn't. But there are 7 important things that you need to know to be successful. And we're going to remember it like a high 5. When we get all of this, we can celebrate. So I'm going to cover them quickly at first so you know what they are. So if you want to grab a piece of paper, you can. And then I'm going to go a little bit more in depth into each one of the 7. So the first one is, and these are all 7 things that are going to help you get focused in your business and what work you need to do today. So the first one is your thumb, and this represents what problem do I solve? What problem do I solve for people in my business? And that's like a thumbs up. When I know what problem I solve, I can give people a thumbs up. The next one is your pointer finger, and this is your niche. And I talked a lot about this a couple of weeks ago, so you can check that out in a video there. But your niche is who you serve specifically and what results you're going to get them. Your middle finger is your mission, what you will do and by when. And at the very beginning, your mission is going to change. It might change weekly for a while until you have that really narrowed down. Your ring finger is your vision, how you're going to carry out your mission. And your pinky is your values, what you value in your business. And to me, these 3 really go together: mission, vision, and values. And the first 2 kind of go together like you were eating with chopsticks. I had to learn to eat with chopsticks. We went to China and Japan a number of years ago, and there were no forks to be had, so we had to learn to eat with chopsticks. But your thumb and your pointer go together. What problem do I solve in my niche go together, and then your mission, vision, and values go together. So those are the 5 on your fingers. Then your palm is what puts all of those together, and that is your method. How do I actually get them the results that I talk about in these 5 fingers? So the method is what is your palm. And then your arm is what puts all of this together, and that is the systems. Do I have a framework to start working and use my time efficiently? You could have this really great hand with all 5, 6 of these things figured out, but if it's not attached to a system, then it's just a hand kind of waving out there. You need a system in order to do the work that fulfills everything on your hand. So you're either trying to do it all or you're not doing anything at all because you're probably missing one of these 7 pieces in your business. You're missing a part or more than one part of your foundation. So oftentimes what we want to do is we want to hop right into content creation, right into creating our logo, but we haven't actually gotten all of this stuff down, and so we're confused. We don't know what to do, or we're trying to do it all because we haven't answered these questions. So these are the right steps to take to break through that feeling of being lost or overwhelmed in your business and just kind of spinning your wheels. So let's go back through them a little bit more in depth, and you can take notes if you want. But the first one is your thumb. What problem do I solve? And you've got to be really specific about this part. Saying something like, I'll save you time and money, isn't specific enough. You could save me time and money and be a maid that comes and helps me clean my house. You could save me time and money by being a bookkeeper that helps me manage my money. You could save me time and money by coming and teaching me how to sew my own clothes for my children. That probably wouldn't save me time, but it might save me money. Saying I save you time and money is not specific enough. What do you do that helps me save time and money? You need to speak to a very specific problem. And oftentimes what you're speaking to actually is an emotion that people are feeling. They feel something deeply, and you are going to speak to that need by solving that emotional problem that they have. Here are a few examples. Typically, I only try and do like online coaching examples because that's who I work with the most, but I'm going to use some that hopefully will just give you some ideas today. So let's say you're a cake maker and you make beautiful, gorgeous cakes, but you can't seem to get people into your business. It's because you're not solving a specific problem. You can say in your marketing something like, I make great cakes, I make beautiful cakes. That's great, but that doesn't solve a problem for me because I don't need a cake today. But you could get really specific and say in your marketing something like, looking for a unique, one-of-a-kind wedding cake. I make tasty and special cakes for your big day. You are solving an emotional problem for them. You are connecting with a specific group of people, and that is brides who are looking for a unique, tasty cake on their wedding day. You are solving a problem for them. It feels very, very specific because you're only targeting brides and wedding cakes, But when you do that, you actually pull more people in because they see, oh my gosh, she does really beautiful wedding cakes. I need a pretty anniversary cake. My parents are celebrating their 50th anniversary. I want a beautiful anniversary cake. Maybe she could make a cake like they had 50 years ago for their wedding. So when you get really, really specific, like solving a problem for brides on their wedding day, then you actually will attract other people into your business too. But when you try and be everything to all people, I make all cakes, then you don't attract anyone because you're not solving a very specific problem. You really need to speak specifically to them, to brides, and what their needs are, and you will actually attract other people. Okay, let's say you sell jewelry, and you can say, I have a great variety of jewelry. Well, that's great. You could also say, I have a great selection of silver and gold jewelry. Well, that's great, but that doesn't necessarily solve a problem for me because I'm not in the market to purchase any jewelry right now. So you need to get really specific on what problem you solve for them. So one idea might be, are you looking for heirloom quality jewelry to pass on to the next generation? Okay, now you're actually speaking to a specific problem, a felt need. You've got a target audience of moms and grandmas, maybe aunts, who are looking to purchase heirloom quality jewelry. I didn't even know I was looking to purchase heirloom quality jewelry, but now in your ad and your copy, you're piquing an interest for me in that, oh, I actually have some nieces. I would love to be able to purchase something for them, like for graduation, that they could keep forever, not something cheap and chintzy that they're just going to wear for a little while and then discard. You're solving a specific problem for people with your jewelry. And again, when you get really specific in what problem you solve, you'll start attracting other people. Okay, let's say you're a wellness coach. You could say, I'll help you lose weight. Excuse me, that's great, but that doesn't speak to a specific group of people about a specific problem. Let's say that you want to target postpartum women and losing that extra baby fat that they have. Now you're solving a problem. The problem I solve is you can't lose those last 10 pounds after having a baby. I help you do that. Now you can target a specific audience with your ad and your copy. You're going to talk to postpartum moms very differently than you would talk to, say, someone like me who's 40 plus and just needs help getting in shape for the long run. I want to keep my mobility and my muscle tone and my flexibility and my balance as I go into my older age. Those are two different target audiences, and you're solving two different problems for them. You're going to speak to them differently in your ad and your copy and the way you market to them. So getting really specific on what problem you solve is going to help you know what work to do and not be so overwhelmed because you actually have a specific audience and problem to solve, and you're only solving one problem. This is really hard because for me, like, I want to solve lots of problems. I'm a helper, I'm a teacher, I'm a mom, I'm a wife. Like, I love helping people solve problems. But even still, I'm having to get really focused on what is the one problem that I solve for people. So the problem that I solve for people is eliminating the guesswork out of building a business. I think there's so much mystery and like people not being upfront and clear about how to start a business. I want to take the guesswork out of it and help people do that clearly and easily. So your thumb is, what problem do I solve? The second one, and I'm not going to talk a lot about this, is your niche. This goes hand in hand with the problem that you solve. A niche, and I talked about this in a video a couple of weeks ago, is a specialized segment of the market for a particular kind of product or service. Your niche can be expressed in one sentence that clearly states, who do I serve? So like if you're that wellness coach, I serve postpartum moms. And what's the result that you get for them? I help them lose the last 10 pounds of baby weight. So that's very specific. That's your niche. So you can check out that video. Those two go together. My niche is I help entrepreneurs ignite action to finally launch a profitable business. So that's what mine is. All right, let's go into the next three. These three are mission, vision, and values, and they all go together. And really, this is what makes up your brand. And I talked about that a couple of weeks ago too. So your mission statement should answer what your company does, how they do it, and why they do it. It should be concise and easy to understand. This is one of the areas where people like to be very long-winded. I worked for schools, and like we would have 3 and 4 sentence paragraph long missions. That's not what a mission is. It should be clear and concise and something that rolls off the tongue, something that's easy for you to be able to verbalize. And the best way to write a mission statement is to look at other people's. That's the best way that I can find to do it. You can look on Google and look up companies like Google and Tesla and Coke and Nike. They all have great mission statements that are super concise and that tell what their company does, how they do it, and why they do it. You want it to be specific and also to cut out any extra words that you need. You don't want to be wordy. If this is something you struggle with, then ask someone for a little bit of help. But you should be really clear on what problem you solve from your thumb and your niche, and that will help you build your mission statement. And this mission statement is always written in present tense. It's what you're doing right now in your business. And so my mission is teaching and empowering online coaches to ignite action to finally launch a profitable business. You're going to hear the same words and the same phrases over and over in all of these things, and that's good. You want that repetition so that you're very specific and very clear on what you do. So that is your mission statement. And the way I do it is by teaching and empowering people to be able to do that work. Ultimately, I want to teach people and empower people to do the work so you don't need me anymore, that you feel good and confident to be able to do it on your own. So that is mission, and that's your mission. Next, your ring finger is your vision. This is how you are going to carry out your mission. This vision statement is when you finally get to be aspirational. It's a dream in the future. I don't know if you're going to meet that dream, but you are going to shoot for the stars with your vision. You have not achieved your vision yet. And when you do achieve your vision, then it's time to rewrite your vision. It's what you want to be, where you want to be in the future. And it's oftentimes more abstract. My vision is to help every coach build a profitable business they love. Now, am I going to get to every coach? No. But gosh, I sure would love to get to a lot of them, because when other people are successful in their business, it makes me feel good, and your success is my success. So my vision is to help everyone that I can be able to have a profitable business they love. A lot of people have a business they love, but it's not profitable. And a lot of people have a profitable business, but they don't love it. They just are working all the time, 100 hours a week. And I want to help people be able to do both, have a profitable business and have a business they love. And the way that I do that is in my mission statement, by teaching and empowering them. So that's mission and vision. Those two go together. And one of my favorite ones is coming up with what values you're going to have in your business. This is one that people don't do a lot. And to me, it's one of the most important ones. And I'm going to tell you why. Values, your little pinky, it's small, but it's mighty, is what you do, what you value in your business, and how you're going to do that in your business. These are unique to you, but you're going to find a lot of people have them overlapping. And I actually have a list of words to help you get started with this process, and I'm going to drop the link to get that list of words in the comments below after the video posts. But having these specific values is part of your brand as well, and it's going to guide your work. So let me give you a couple of examples for these. One of the values that I had from the very beginning of building my business was I wanted to be founded on honesty. It's really, really important to me. I have found in some, not a lot, but in some online coaching businesses, people are not honest and upfront. They want to make a buck. And it just doesn't sit right with me. I've gotten some emails over the last year or so that'll say something like, join my program for only $179 today. So that is a sense of marketing, but then way down at the bottom, it'll have a tiny little thing in little print that says plus 5 payments of $179. So it just doesn't feel honest to me. It is a form of marketing and they're not lying, but I want to be clear and honest about what I offer, what results I get, and how much it costs. So honesty to me is a very important value, and it helps guide my work. If an opportunity comes across my plate that seems a little scammy, it's a hard no, because my value in my business for me is honesty. And so you can start to see that as you have these different pieces of my high five method laid out clearly for you, it helps you define what work you need to be doing, because you can more easily say yes and no to opportunities and work that are coming across your plate, because you can just see, does it line up with my problem? Does it line up with my niche? Maybe you got an opportunity or there's some work to do that is similar to the problem that you solve, but it's a completely different niche. Now you can say, no, that's not the work I want to be doing, because that's not marketing to the people that I need to have. So you can begin to start to say no. And when you have your values in place, you can see that when something that's not honest comes across my plate, it just makes it easy to say no. I'm not desperate for work. I don't need to make money by breaking one of my values. My other values for me are excellence. I want to do things with excellence. I want my product to be quality and to have excellence. I also want my products and the things that I do to be helpful. I don't want to do things just for money or because it's the popular thing to do right now. I want what I have to create it to be worthwhile for people and helpful. And the other thing that's really important to me, which is a value for me, is I want to have a company that's courageous, that's stepping out in faith, doing what God has called me to do, and empowering people to have courage in their own business. I think all too often we as online coaches or business owners, we're hiding behind our computer and we don't actually want to step out. And so I want to model in my business being courageous. So those values on your pinky are, for me, are honesty, excellence, helpful, and courageous. And again, I have a list of values that you could pick from for yourself. And these may change at the beginning a little bit, and that's okay. But when you have your values, you can see what work you need to do. So the next one that I have is your palm, and this is the method in which you get them the results that you're talking about. How I get them results. This is going to be what you offer to people. It's either a physical product, an online course, or coaching that you offer to them. For me, I am developing a business in a binder. So the way that I solve the problem of helping people eliminate the guesswork out of building a business, my method is a business in a binder. So that when you are done coaching with me, you actually have a business in a binder. This is mine, that has your whole business laid out for you with all 7 of these things that I'm talking about today, plus even more. And here's the word of encouragement for you. When you get started, you don't have to have this method figured out entirely. And what my recommendation to you is, probably a little bit different than other coaches, is you actually don't want to have this all laid out before you get started, because it's going to change based on feedback that you get from your clients and customers. It's going to grow and develop. What I started with 6 months ago is not what I have now. It's a process that I'm working on that's getting better and better, because I'm working with people like you guys to learn from you about what your actual needs are. So you don't actually have to have that all figured out. It grows and evolves as you interact with people. So your method is the glue that kind of pulls all this together, from your niche, or from your what problem do I solve, to your niche, mission, vision, values, and now your method. One of the things that I teach in my business in a binder is what's on your arm, which is the systems with which you're going to carry all of the rest of it out. Systems are the framework that you need to start working and using your time efficiently. This is really going to help you solve that problem of, I'm trying to do it all, or I don't know what to do. Part of the problem is that you don't have a system with which to work in. And it's one of the ones that really is different from the rest of what's on your hand. But I think it's one of the most valuable things that people are missing in their business. They may have all of this stuff really figured out. They've got a beautiful brand. They've got, 10,000 followers, but they're not working efficiently. So they're still working 40, 50, 60 hours a week to carry all of this out because they don't actually have a system to do that. And if you don't have a way to work effectively and efficiently on your business, you will get stuck in this help mode for a very long time. So the system that I have is called a 90-day sprint. I'm working on a new name for it. So if you have any suggestions, maybe something like 90-day Biz Buster or something like that, that helps you get really focused for 90 days on one thing at a time so that you're not trying to do it all and you're not overwhelmed by what you have. And it gives you a way to actually make a list of things to do for each day that's really focused, that cuts out that like shiny object syndrome that we suffer from when we're starting a business, where it's like, ooh, I could do this. Ooh, I could do this. Like I signed up for like five-day challenges this week. That's ridiculous. I don't have time to do that. It's not actually what I need to be doing. So my system helps cut down some of those distractions so that you can get really focused on that. And I am developing that product right now, and I'll be super excited this summer to launch that product for you to be able to purchase. So here's the thing. I just told you about 7 things you need in your business. What is the problem I solve? My niche, my mission, vision, values, method, and systems. And that you really do need all of these things to get started. But here's my note about that. Don't get stuck here. I have seen people and talked to people who have been stuck in this phase for 3 years, 5 years, forever. You don't want to get stuck here. If you can talk about all of these relatively easily with a fairly clear vision for where you are right now, and you're about 50 to 75% done with all of these things, and you're feeling good, move on. It's time to start creating content. It's time to start putting stuff out there. It's time to start getting some feedback on what you have, and then you can go back and adjust these. None of these are carved in stone. These are not like the 10 commandments that are carved in stone and never change for 2,000 years. They can change a lot, especially at the beginning. And they're going to evolve over time as you learn more and grow more and develop products and systems that help you be able to do that work. So you want to not get stuck in this and be about 50 to 75% good to go on these things. And here's a good test to know that you're ready to move on. When you sit down to write a newsletter, create posts for social media, create content, you actually have ideas that are flowing. If you sit down and your brain goes, it's probably because you don't have enough of these things figured out to be able to create that content. That used to be me. I would sit down and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do today. Now I think about posts and content in my sleep because I know what problem I'm solving. I know who I'm solving it for. I know why I'm solving it, and I know what I value. It makes creating all of that content really, really easy. Well, easier. It's still hard. It's still a process because we're all still learning and we're all still new at this, but it makes it easier. It takes away that confusion. You aren't ready to move on to creating all of that content if your ideas are still stagnant, abstract, or unclear. If you tell someone what you do, which I highly recommend, it's part of my coaching program, is just get out there and talk to people. Talk to the stranger at the grocery store. Talk to the stranger who's sitting next to you on the airplane. What do? I help online coaches ignite action in their business to finally launch a profitable business. If people are like, what? I have no idea what she's talking about, then you need to go back to the drawing board and get more clear on these things because it's not resonating with people. And so you want to be really solid in these 7 things before you move on. So I hope that was helpful for you. I actually have a graphic that I created this weekend of the 7 things that you need that I can post. And I also have a few other things that I can offer to you to help you with these, because I know they're hard. There's a reason people get stuck here for a year, 2 years, 3 years without actually launching a profitable business, because this is hard. It's hard to get really clear, especially if you have so many ideas out here and you have a hard time getting really narrowed down on what you want to do. So here's what I do to help people. I help clients in my business build a business in a binder. I mentioned it earlier. You actually end up with a whole binder that you create that is your business. And I have a few of those pieces available to you for free right now. Eventually that's going to cost money, and it's going to be part of a product that I sell, but for right now it's free. And I have the table of contents available, and I'm going to drop a link below for you, and it has links to other resources. So it's really a great deal right now to get this table of contents for free. So I will drop that down below for you. I also help you get a roadmap to getting all of these things set up clearly so you can move on to the next step, and you can book a discovery call for me to be able to help you talk through these things to get started. So I will also drop a link to that. The other thing I can encourage you on is to ask questions in the Q&A on Wednesdays when I post that every Wednesday. Post your niche, post your problem that you solve, post your mission and these other parts, and ask, does this make sense? Is this clear? That is all free to you and available to you, my expertise and the expertise of the other people in this group too. There's a lot of great people in here that have good ideas. So take advantage of that Q&A on Wednesdays. It's always there for you. So if you found this video helpful, I really encourage you to invite a friend to the group, share this video with a group, with a friend, so that they can learn from it too and learn my high five method, and give me feedback on how it helped you. Melissa, I'm so glad that it helped you break it down and clarify what's important. Sometimes we just need help knowing what is it that I should be doing right now. Come back next week. Next week, we're going to talk about how do I get more leads. And I talked about leads a couple of weeks ago, but where are they and who are they? And so I want to help you be able to find those people. So I hope you have a great Monday. I hope that this is just a great week for you in your business. And I hope that you're just able to take the next step to be able to have a business that you both love and that has impact and income. So we'll see you later.